All right, welcome to another episode of NFL Outdated Cover 2 series, and I am joined again by the 2021 Chicago Bears Fan of the Year, Destiny. How's it going?
It's going. How are you doing?
Hey, football's over. It was an incredible Super Bowl, incredible season. It's going to be a little bit tough, but I'm really excited to hear about your experience. I mean, just watching everything, and from the outside, it was amazing. So you had a chance, obviously, to go, to LA for the Super Bowl and all the festivities. So, first of all, just tell me, what was like, traveling there to the Super Bowl.
Um, Traveling. I mean, we left super duper early. We got there Thursday afternoon, and then we had honors that night. So when we landed,
Yeah.
we only had a couple of about a few hours just to kind of get together, get settled in the hotel. So most of the NFL and the guests and stuff stayed by LAX. So it's like about 5 or 6 hotels in that immediate area. So, when I was arriving, there were, media arriving and other fans of the year arriving. So we all kind of met up in person and chatted for a while. And then, we started to break away and get ready. So it was a smooth flight there. I normally don't do good with long flights. So we made it.
Yeah.
And just getting there, I mean, with the traffic, it was awful just trying to get to one place for another. But NFL looked out for us and we were chauffeured pretty much everywhere. So they had secret routes and stuff that we didn't have if we would have drove ourselves.
That's awesome. So did you kind of feel like a celebrity, like even kind of getting there?
Yeah, it was. So I didn't wear any of my fan of the year stuff on the plane or anything. I pretty
Mhm.
much just was dressed down. But when we got there, and people were holding signs, and we were like family and friends, NFL. So we were in like this special group that pretty garnered a lot of attention. And then when people were coming in, like other people that were there, and just like the workers and stuff were like kind of they were kind of like, oh my god, these people are coming in. And so it felt cool because like we all traveled as this group and we all had on like our fan of the year stuff. Most of us had fan of the year on the back of our jerseys and on the front. So you see this big group of people with, different jerseys, and we had security walking with us sometimes, and then NFL workers walking with us. So I think we did get a lot of attention just because we were such a large group, and then with our guests that came too. So it was like a group of like 70 people just mobbing through the hotel and, walking around different places. So yeah, we did get quite a bit of attention actually.
That's awesome. Now, you said your first night was the NFL honors, and what was that experience like? And I mean, did they have you sitting all together in a certain place, and what was that experience like?
So when we arrived on Thursday, we got to the honors. We left the hotel like around, I think it was maybe like 2 o'clock or something like that. And when we got, so there was no parking for anyone that wasn't like NFL or media at SoFi. So we took this huge bus, luxury bus, and went to SoFi. We had in this parking lot, and we had to walk from where we were, through it was like 4 or 5 different checkpoints. Like they were not playing with the mask
Mhm.
situation and with you were there with somebody. Even the people who were with the NFL, they were getting like some resistance and pushback from security because it was just a lot going on. I mean, they probably
Mhm.
were like, well, who are you? And
Yeah.
things like that. So um when we walked up, we were like red carpet. So just
Cool.
walking up, and all of the media and a lot of the sports commentators and stuff like that were around. And then when we got to up the steps to like this huge NFL honors reception with the best food ever. I mean, it was just it was almost like a celebrity wedding kind of thing because
Cool.
I mean there were people serving us with hors d'oeuvres and free liquor, and then you had Nick Chubb and Mike LaFleur. You had all the celebrities just walking
Oh,
around like kicking it with you and talking and stuff. So it was really cool. And then when you have the fan of the year jerseys on, you're automatically like, oh my god, fan of the year. The only issue that I had was they were confusing me with the Bengals, and I'm just like, no, that's the Bengals because we pretty much, I mean, orange and blue. I think people saw
yeah.
it was like, oh, I feel sorry for y'all. It's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm Bears, and they're like, oh, Bears. So it was cool, but definitely it was definitely an experience. The red carpet experience was pretty cool. So we had fun.
Yeah, you're definitely not Bengal Jim. I did have a chance to talk with him. So
Yeah, Bengal Jim is awesome, and I'm pretty
yeah.
cool. Not like anybody confusing me with him because
Mm.
that's the man right there.
Now you talked about Nick Chubb, and were there some other celebrities that you met or that made an impression?
Yeah. So it was, what was his name? Mike Adams.
Oh, cool.
Um, the new quarterback from the Patriots. Can't remember his
Mac
name.
Jones.
Yeah,
Wow.
right. So my husband noticed people that I'm just like,
Yeah.
Vrabel of the yeah, because Vrabel was
Of the
there.
Titans. Yeah.
Yeah, Titans. Who else? Oh, Matt LaFleur. So Green Bay guy. Oh,
Hmm.
he, he took a picture with him, and he said Aaron Rodgers still owns you, and then smiled for a
Oh,
picture afterwards. So I'm
that's
just
awesome.
okay. What was his name? From Green Bay that was messing with me. Aaron Jones.
Oh,
Aaron
cool.
Jones is hilarious. So we were
Yeah.
walking to the honors, and he was behind me, and he saw my jersey, and he's like, "Oh, so what's up? You want to take a picture?" And I turned around, I'm looking like, "You lucky I know Adrian." So he was like, "So where's your one jersey?" Yeah. So it was really cool because we were just going back and forth talking. It was
That's cool.
absolutely amazing. So a lot of the celebrities, like, they weren't bougie, they weren't. Mr. Schrager, I love
Oh,
him.
yeah.
He was so nice. He knew who I was. A lot of it was just so many. I wanted to see Stephen A. Smith, and I wanted to
Yeah.
see, that was my big one. I wish I would have ran into him, but I didn't see him. But other than that, they were everywhere. Most of them I didn't know. My husband and them knew though.
What about like Keegan Michael Key? Did you see him?
Okay, so Keegan Michael Key was walking towards me,
Yeah.
and he touched me. He's like, "I like your jersey and your purse." And I'm like, did he just touch me? And my husband said, he touched me, and he talked to me. So it was really cool because he was funny as hell. His
Oh,
mom,
yeah.
it was awesome. But yes, he walked towards me and he complimented me on my jersey, and
Awesome.
he complimented me on my purse, which was like, my purse was the center of attention everywhere we went. People stopped and was like, "Oh my God, I love your purse. Oh my God, oh my God." I mean, it was just insane. But yes, I did see Keegan Michael Key, and he touched me and he told me that he liked my purse. And it wasn't Stephen A., but I love Keegan Michael Key.
Oh, yeah. He's fantastic. And I'm sure, I believe he's a Lions fan. So
I think he's
I think
something.
that was in the song. So,
Yeah, so
yeah. With that, NFL honors experience, what was that just whole program like? I mean, there was a lot of kind of pauses and everything, and then, the introducing of the Hall of Fame inductees, or how did that work as well?
so we were all sitting together. So we were on 300 level. They had some the orchestra was the Los Angeles something orchestra. Yeah, so yes, so they had like a orchestra group from LA. They were awesome. And then there were some football kids there that they had invited too. So they were all in a section. So yeah, we sat in 300 level. So we were up. So this was the night that they were announcing the ultimate NFL fan of the year. So we had no idea.
Oh, yeah.
And we didn't know if it was like one of us. We just couldn't say anything. So it ended up being Henry, who was the Atlanta Falcons fan of the year. And he got to walk out with such an entertainer. So it was Issa Rae, it was LaDainian Tomlinson, it was Jimmy Kimmel. Gronk was there, and it was just so many celebrities and people that we had no idea. Oh, Katy Perry and Kelly Clarkson,
Wow.
and it was awesome. The Manning brothers and Walter Payton's daughter. She was actually like she was a Fox News anchor for Chicago for a while. I hadn't seen her, but I saw her there. So it was pretty awesome just to see that. And they did do a dedication of NFL players, old and new referees, and then they did a Joe Madden.
John Madden, yeah.
Yeah, John Madden dedication thing. So it was pretty cool to see all of the nominees. Tom Brady was up for a couple of awards, and my husband was but Aaron Rodgers won the whatever he won kind of thing. So it was really interesting.
And now they did the Hall of Fame announcements as well, or obviously found out, and being a Bears fan, were you a little disappointed with Devin Hester not getting in?
Yeah, I feel, and I think a lot of other people feel,
Hmm.
you don't have to be a Bears fan. Devin Hester deserves to be there. So it's
Hmm.
just they did the video of like how they surprised the Hall of Fame inductees and people that went to, knocked on the door and surprised them with it. And I mean, it was devastating. I mean, Devin Hester was probably one of the best Bears players that we've had in my, you know, time when
Hmm.
I started, really getting into football and things like that. So um everyone that made it, into the Hall of Fame, they deserved it. But I think it needs to be either more inductees than they do, or I don't know, or maybe they just need to do it like twice. I don't know, but I was shocked that Devin Hester didn't get it, and that was actually the chatter that we were
Hmm.
hearing when we were like mingling after. Somebody said, Devin Hester, and it was all over Twitter, and um, they definitely did him a disservice with that.
Yeah, definitely next year. I think. I mean, uh, in those Bears teams, like, the one that got the Super Bowl. I mean, had he not, even against that Cardinals game, I mean, he just turned everything around in the Super Bowl and everything. So, it just I mean, that sounded like a fantastic, event, the NFL honors. And what were some other kind of the media events that you had with the Fan of the Year as well?
So Thursday was honors. Friday we had a Captain Morgan Fans of the Year brunch out in Koreatown. So when we got there, it was Victor Cruz and Ben Baller. And when we walked in, food at every single one of these things was amazing. Like we got free
Nice.
liquor and good ass food. So we were there. They presented Henry, who won the ultimate NFL fan of the year. Ben Baller made him a oh my god. He made him a chain that
Wow.
was like 10 carats, heavy, weight was like 1 or 2 kilo. It was just
Wow. That's awesome.
now, that was cool. But I feel like that Mr. Henry has like been a season ticket holder for like 50 something years, right?
Hmm.
Lives in the same area that he grew up in, different things to where, some people not wrapped all that tight. They don't really think that this man has, I think it was like the estimated retail was like 250,000 dollars.
Wow.
And it's like, I think they should have, and they probably did give him like a trophy thing that states that, but I think that the chain was slightly inappropriate for him because
Right.
he can't wear it.
Mhm.
He can't keep it in his house.
No.
I mean, so it's like he's not going to be able to enjoy that accolade. Yes, he won, and we were rooting the hell. He was walking around the brunch with it on. I mean, because it was just us; it wasn't open to the public. But um, I was talking to his daughter, and his daughter was saying like he can't wear like what are you going to
Yeah.
do? So I know he had it on at the brunch, and I think some representative from like Rolex or something took it, and they shipped it somewhere. So we don't know
Right.
what it is. And I'm hoping and praying that when he gets back to Atlanta, that no knucklehead thinks that he has it, hidden under the floorboards of his house, that they just let the man be. But I'm happy
Yeah.
he was chosen because he's done a lot with the community. He's been a season ticket holder longer than any of us have been alive. So Mr. Henry is awesome, and we're so happy that he was, because he really deserved it. But I think they probably should have did something a little bit more age appropriate for him, so with that
Right.
enjoy it instead of living in fear that someone's going to kick his door in about a chain that's not even there. So happy for
Right.
him, but they could have did something a little different with him for that.
Absolutely. And when you talk about some of the other fans of the year, who are some of the fans of the year that maybe you connected with down there?
Oh yeah, so Bengal Jim,
Mhm.
his wife, um, Ron of the Cardinals, love
Yep.
love Ron.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's got so much energy too.
yeah, just everybody that I came in contact with this weekend was just we're like a family. And
Cool.
I'm gonna just go ahead and put it out there. I don't know if anybody else knows, but the Seattle Seahawks gave one of their fans or whatever. He won tickets to the Super Bowl at a Seahawks event back in April. Now, he probably, and I feel like everybody who is a fan of a certain team feels like they love their team and they do whatever they can to support their team. And that's totally fine. And that
Mhm.
support looks different depending on who you're looking at. You're
Mhm.
looking at a woman, we're not shirtless at games, painted half and half, screaming and stuff like that. But this particular Seahawks fan won tickets at a draft event with the Seahawks. And when they named the Seattle Seahawks Fan of the Year, which ended up being a woman in
Mhm.
October, this guy was pissed. And
Oh,
you see the nails. My bad. Bam, bam, bam.
nice.
Bam,
Love it.
bam, bam, bam. Yeah. So he wages this war on
Oh,
social
wow.
media about she's never been to a game. I mean, bullying her.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
I didn't see that when it
Yeah, yeah.
happened, but he weaseled his way into finding out certain information. And he ended up, when I was checking in, we saw him and his wife at the hotel. Now, I don't really try to get involved in any of that kind of stuff because I feel like your support for your team is going to look different than someone else's, but that does not mean that you're more deserving of it. And I think
Absolutely,
what he
right?
was bragging was saying, well, my wife and I have donated, more money than all of it, you know what I'm saying? And he got into it with a lot of us. He didn't get into it with me. But just like the whole
Yeah.
being a woman on social media, like, how dare you?
Yeah.
Like, we are a select group of people that have
Mhm.
shared an experience. And I feel like there is nobody that was in that group that I was with all of this past weekend that I would say, oh, hey, I would never, link up with them again. We
Right.
all had fun. We all respected each other and we all kind of came together to support our fellow fan of the year because this guy literally, like, it was insane. When I saw the messages and the screenshots, I was
Wow.
like, what the? So the NFL ended up finding out about it because she said, well, I don't feel comfortable. He's in our hotel.
Wow.
So him going to the game, whatever. We get to honors. Who is on the red carpet giving an interview saying that the Seattle Seahawks couldn't make a decision, so they chose both of us as the fan of the year?
Oh,
We're
wow.
walking past him on red carpet, like, are you serious? It was just like the delusion,
Yeah.
and it's like it made an amazing experience so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
The fact that we all had to sign something from the NFL stating if we behaved a certain way or
Yeah.
something like that, that our prize will be forfeit. You cannot clown like that under the NFL when they're doing things for you.
Yeah.
So he was at the honors. We had no idea how he got a ticket because he didn't get it from when the
Wow.
NFL came to us, he didn't get it from anybody. So I
Mhm.
don't know how long him and his wife was on their knees or whatever, but he didn't get the ticket from anybody that would have reputably gave it to him. He got it from somewhere. And all while he was there, he's just walking around, And let me say this: there are some people in the group that have not had that kind of experience with him. They're like, well, him and his wife are really nice. So they're not mad. But when you're on the other side of that bullying,
Oh,
you know,
absolutely.
what I'm saying? Like, my husband's not going to stand unless somebody, but he didn't do
No,
it
absolutely.
in front of us. But he did make it very uncomfortable. And I felt like when all of that stuff came, like when you have proof and screenshots and, him having legions of people, come after her on social media. When I looked up the comments, it wasn't really negative. They said, well, it must suck to be a Bears fan. I could deal with that kind of criticism.
Right, absolutely.
But when you have someone who is like literally trying to dox you, and then you're sneaking into private groups to figure out what hotel we're staying in and our itinerary and things like that borderline delusion. And then
Yeah.
you have someone who is literally afraid because he had legions of men attacking her on social media, and now you're in our hotel, and now you're at the game, and now you're at honors, and it's just like that really made me mad. So as like a group of fans of the year, I'm not gonna stand for somebody bullying somebody that I feel like
Absolutely not.
I made a connection with. And no disrespect to the NFL at all. Thank you for that experience. But I feel like the Seahawks, once they were made aware, they should have said, listen,
Mhm.
not. And you need to stop. And either it should have been rescinded.
Mm-hmm.
The hotel should have been made aware where they could have banned him from property, because you are online, you're on record threatening someone.
Mm-hmm.
You're online calling them the N-word. You are doing all of these weird
Wow.
things. And you're still allowed to enjoy these things. Well, I'd have had to walk a fine line on social media when I wanted to go off. And I'm like, nope, because they finna call me and say, Destiny, you posted this. Sorry, you're not fan of the year anymore. We've had to walk that line, and we had to sign things that state such. And you let this man clown somebody on social media and have people coming after her. Like, what whatever the crazy Seattle, I don't even know his name.
Right. Right.
I'll show you a picture. But if you're watching this, you stop it. And that's just how it. You didn't get chosen as a fan of the year. Move on. But don't threaten a woman. And your wife is wrong for letting you do that, because she knows about it and she just thought it was okay and cute. And I'm not with that. So the connections are family. You mess with my family, with my fan of the year family, trust me, if there was not a minute that he thought that he was safe around to be talking negatively about it, because he tried it with the Baltimore Ravens lady.
Oh, wow.
They had to separate them because
Yeah.
he was like, "Well, you've never been to a game before." I'm just like, "How do you know?"
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. That's not what and that's the exact opposite. It's not about money. It's not about how much maybe you've donated. There's from the fans of the year that I've talked about. There's so many different things, and just that kind of attitude of it's mine is the exact opposite. Of the whole. I don't know. It's meant to be a positive thing, and yeah, and that had to be frustrating, and just um, yeah, too bad, that kind of, experience was allowed to happen. Obviously it sounds like you guys, were given strict, guidelines and as everyone should, is your job, you're a representative of this or that, you're a representative of the NFL. And yeah, that's kind of an interesting experience. And, too bad that had to happen. And, yeah,
Oh, sure. Oh,
yeah.
sorry, my phone. Yeah.
Yeah, even I started these interviews, with team of people, as a positive thing, because that's the thing, as Twitter and any social media can be a negative place, and I think the more positive, interactions, the better. And I guess my question is, how close were you with the Packer fan of the year?
Oh gosh. Um.
So I do an NFC North podcast, and I try to give my our Packer person. She I try to say, hey, you can call me out. We go back and forth, and so we have fun with it, but it's in a positive way. And but I'm always interested, the Packer fan of the year, how that went.
You know what? There is no love lost. Because it's like,
Oh yeah,
I understand that I by default I'm supposed to hate everything Green Bay.
right.
By default, I get. But we have fun.
Oh,
It was
absolutely.
just a thing, like it's just like group hug. And then I saw Matt LaFleur, and then he makes the comment and then smiles for a picture, and then Aaron Jones is talking mess to me walking in the honors. So honestly, it's no love. Like, we had a good laugh about it. And then it's like we
Yeah.
talk about, the rivalry and, different things like that. So we got along for for the whole weekend, and we're gonna continue to be friends after that. But
Absolutely,
I
absolutely.
mean,
That's cool. That's cool.
yeah, it's no love lost.
Well, obviously you had the rest of the weekend, and then the Super Bowl experience. What was that like? I mean, just being there from start to finish.
Well, um, so Friday we got to go. No, Saturday they gave us tickets to the NFL experience at the convention center, and it was awesome. It was really, really crowded.
Mm,
So what's crazy is that the way that the line snaked outside, and like it was up a road and down a road and then through all of these things, and you got these people with these signs saying that you're going to hell because what's the name, they like they be at military funerals saying that God killed your family member. Just all these weird
Uh,
uh,
yeah.
um we got in, it was crowded. The lines for a lot of the experiences were long. So we just kind of walked around. They had like an auction with different memorabilia things going on. There were different like Play 60 things going on, helmets of each, team and locker. So ours was Khalil Mack with the locker thing. They had all of the My Cause My Cleats showcase, and then like a lot of like signings and stuff like that. I was like 2-3 hours long. It's not that serious for me. But after that with Friday, we kind of, just ventured off and, went. But Saturday, when we went to the experience, it seemed like the people who were the reason why that was so crowded, and you could hear like, well, this is as close as I'm going to get to, a Super Bowl because, we can't afford tickets. So just ironically was just looking at how much tickets were. It was like $7,000 for like 500 level seats. So when we got there, we left super duper early because we had to do like a Good Morning Football thing with a few of the anchors and stuff like that, and we
Yeah.
walked. And then we got to do the whole NFL experience thing that was outside, so like the fan village and stuff before the crowds came. So again, we were like escorted, through SoFi. We took an elevator down, and then we were in like this game tunnel, and we were walking onto the field. It was,
Wow.
when I tell you that turf felt like a comfortable memory foam mattress under my feet. It was awesome. And just being down on the field, my husband, he wore, you see the picture. My husband wore a Versace robe, that
Nice.
robe, and Versace shoes to the Super Bowl. And when I tell
That's
you, he was
awesome.
stopped. So it was like 80 something degrees. People were like, "Aren't you hot?" and things like that. And he was like, "No, not really." So
Is
he
that on
got
Instagram? Do you have a picture of that
yeah,
on
yeah,
Instagram? I'm gonna have
yeah,
to
yeah.
check that
Oh
out.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
got yeah, you got, because I don't post a lot of stuff on Twitter like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you
yeah.
on your Instagram, but we were escorted through all of these, different, checkpoints, and seeing different things, and just being on the field was insane. Because then when we were down there, there were players on the field that were warming up, and people, the fans and stuff were waving and cheering, and then they did an interview with Henry while we were down in the field. So it was like maybe like 5 minutes down in the field, but it was absolutely worth it. And then, we went to our seats, which were 500 level seats. So I saw a lot on social media that people would say, well, oh, they didn't have y'all, closer. Honestly, it's not about being close to the field. I was on the field, first of all. So whoever
Yeah.
talking about, oh my God, you were in 5 level, well, you were at home. But
Mhm.
it's like where we were sitting, it wasn't, I mean, it was 70,000 people there, but it wasn't like we needed to be close. So all of the celebrities, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Kanye, Chris Tucker, Kevin Hart, it was everybody who you thought would be there would be there. And
Yeah.
I know where we sat. I mean, we had reserved seating. We, you know, were basically like royalty there, you know what I'm saying? Even though we were sitting amongst everybody. So we were sitting next to Bengal Jim's kids, and
Cool.
Bengal Jim, I think, had like closer seats. So the people who we were sitting around were amazing. They weren't, jerks or anything like that. It was a pretty good mix and stuff like that. So the game itself was amazing. The halftime show was even more amazing. Um, and my husband and I had so much fun. It was an amazing thing, no matter where we were sitting. The people, like I said, the people who we were sitting around, they weren't like drunk around bunches. We were sitting in a dope and hype section, and I had fun. And LA owes us nothing. I mean,
Absolutely.
it was just amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Well, yeah, you brought up the halftime show. Talk about what that was like, being there live for that. I mean, it was just obviously an amazing show, amazing, just presentation, everything.
Yeah, so we had the lanyards that that light up, and because they had a drone show
Oh, cool.
um that I didn't realize that was going on because SoFi is open air, so the dome kind of covered that, so we didn't see the drone show. But we had like the Pepsi halftime lanyards that kind of like went in sync with the music. So I've been a fan of Dre, Snoop, Mary J, Kendrick Lamar, Eminem. 50 Cent came out. I nearly lost my mind. And it was just like, it was so cool because my husband was like, oh, let's watch and see, how they put everything together. Because they literally assembled like a house in like 2 minutes. It was insane. So it was really cool being there live. I just it was just unspeakable. I have it on recording. I was gonna watch it and see, but yeah, like, oh my god, it's raining and snowing. It's finna snow out here. We got
Oh,
a
nice.
storm coming. I'm like, what is
Yeah.
that? It's raining and it's gonna be snow.
I'm in
Um,
Wisconsin. I think we have some of that coming too. So
oh yeah, yeah. They called off school for our kids. They was like, well, see y'all Tuesday because they're off the weekend anyway. But yeah, the halftime show was amazing, and I like that they gave everyone something to be a part of that and stuff like that. So one easily hands down one of the best halftime shows I've ever seen, and then being there in person, it made it even more amazing. So no competition there.
and the sound was like, all right, kind of in the stadium and everything.
Yeah, I thought it would be a terrible like acoustic echoing. Like
Hmm.
I was just thinking like, how is this gonna work? Even when homegirl that sang the national anthem and she was hitting them notes, oh Lord. It was so clear because normally they like pre-record that stuff because of
Hmm.
the echoing and stuff like that. There were no sound issues. It wasn't hard to hear. Even with the announcers, you could hear everything clearly. And a lot of people say like, "Oh my God, it's going to be the echo. How's it going to go? What's it going?" And there were no issues. The sound was perfect. I mean, you couldn't get a better sound. It wasn't the echoing rumors were unfounded. We didn't have that problem.
And so did you stay with the game? Did you stay all the way through kind of the celebration, or how did that go?
Yeah, so we like I said, the NFL chauffeured us pretty much everywhere we went. We had to stay all the way up until the end. And yeah, we stayed, we saw the celebration. The one player from the Rams, his wife went into labor during the game and stuff
Van
like
Jefferson, yeah.
that. Yep. And then OBJ was crying, and it was really, really cool. And even after the game, because we stayed maybe about 10-15 minutes until the celebration, and there was no fighting, cursing, whose house, the Bengals fans and the Rams fans where we were, which was inside of SoFi. The celebrations and stuff were very classy. I didn't feel like we were in any kind of like danger of rioting. Now, what I see on the news, what happened downtown, well, we weren't down there, but we didn't get any of that at the stadium. Even walking out, I mean, there were people cheering, congratulations. There were Bengals fans walking with Rams fans. So, I mean, just the whole experience, even being there after the game, I mean, I
Yeah.
didn't want to leave. It was just a thing where you just want to sit there and take it all in. And if you're on the 400 level, you can look out all over where the fountain and the SoFi thing and the huge Super Bowl, thing inside the lake. And then they had fireworks going off. So it was awesome. I mean, just staying after to see the celebration. We didn't get a chance to see the parade, but it was amazing. I didn't want to leave.
Oh, I can't imagine. Yeah. And you said you got a lanyard. Were there some other things, kind of some Super Bowl swag that you got, courtesy, or how did that go?
So when we went to so when we got to the hotel, so let me say this. Clubs, certain clubs did certain things for their fans. So
Mm-hmm.
no disrespect to anybody that got, more or less than me. But so Debbie the Texan, they gave
Oh
her a
yeah.
commemorative locker
Wow.
inside the Texans, locker room, and then they sent it to her. Um, Other fans, Victor Cruz actually went to their hometown, the New York Jets fan of the year, and her daughter. They got, I guess a little bit more, concierge or, comp stuff that, certain other people didn't get. The Bears, I say they looked out for us. They gave us the per diem to do whatever we wanted. And we didn't really have to because we were chauffeured everywhere. So like Uber
Yeah.
was like $250, and I'm just like, no. So, but yeah, so they gave us all. So when we went to the brunch with Victor Cruz and Ben Baller, we walked out and we saw this huge like locker with a bunch of like leather jackets in it. And then there were our names. So I'm screaming like, all of the fans of the year, come out to the pool, come out to the pool. And we get out there and I'm just like, our names, and we got jackets. So we got
Wow.
jackets presented to us. Captain Morgan gave us personally engraved bottles, commemorative of that. There was a guy there, I can't remember his Instagram name, but he was drawing like pictures on these footballs. And then we got the fan of the year. Babe, can you hand me that fan of the year pillow?
Wow.
Yeah, like fan of the year pillow. I got a personal letter from the McCaskies. That was really cool. They gave us shirts,
Awesome.
just all kind of different, like awesome things that once I get started on like our memorabilia room, so this was
Oh, cool. Yeah, yeah.
really cool.
That is awesome.
So yeah, we had to get a extra two luggages to get the stuff home. We got Super Bowl jackets, we got all kind of stuff. So I'm gonna say the Bears looked out for me, and I ain't complaining. So yeah, we had a lot of stuff to bring home. We ended up having to buy two extra luggages because it was a lot of stuff. And they had like commemorative like Pepsi bottles, and we got the front page of the paper in LA that next day. Just a ton of things to just, just put in that memory box and memory room. And I was like I say, it was absolutely amazing. It was crazy.
And so, was there anything kind of after the, on Monday then, or how did that go?
So Monday was kind of like it depended on the flight. So a lot of people's flights left like early in the morning. So when we got back from Super Bowl, they were pretty much in bed because they had early flights. But like for us, our flight left like that was supposed to leave that evening and it got delayed. So Monday was just like a kicking day for us. The kids and I, we went, to Beverly Center, Hollywood Walk of Fame. My daughter turned 13 when we were there. So we went to like Barton G, went to Boa Steakhouse. There were a lot of celebrities in the restaurants we were at, just in the area. A good friend of mine, his name is Young Wayne, Worldwide Wayne. He's one of the amazing hosts, the shortest man in show business from Chicago. He does a lot of hosting. He moved to LA, so he was hosting a lot of events. Also, he came and he kicked it with us. One of our very good friends. But yeah, Monday was kind of like a do your own thing day. So we took advantage of that and we, took the kids out and let them, explore LA because it wasn't a lot for them to do only because, we were, like I said, we were on that really, really tight schedule with the NFL, and traffic was insane. So things that we wanted to do, we kind of sort of had to wait because we didn't know who's gonna get back in time. One of the other fans of the year, unfortunately, his flight was delayed, so he missed honors. And then I think the New
Wow.
Orleans, yeah, he didn't get in until like 8 o'clock that night on honors on Thursday. And then the New Orleans fan of the year, his son didn't feel good. I think he tested positive for COVID
Oh, wow.
when we were there. So yeah, it kind of sucked for them. So we were praying for them, because they had to drive back. They couldn't even get on the plane.
Right.
So that was a long ass drive to New Orleans. I don't know.
Yeah. So it seems like it was an amazing, event, and there's so much to kind of look back on. And what are you, going to take away most from this experience?
So, like I was like we had talked about before, and just in general, this is just something that I want my husband and my kids to look back on and say, you know what, that was pretty cool. That was definitely a bucket list thing for more my husband than me. Like I say, I love football, been around football. Charity Buzz also, they feature me on their Instagram and on their Twitter. Um, me being named fan of the year because in April, we're gonna go down to Florida and we're gonna be kicking it with Tom Brady and Gronk.
Awesome.
So,
Yeah.
so yeah, so it's just more of the things, just like making these memories for them because, I haven't been feeling the greatest. I'm still sick. I'm still, dealing with
Yeah.
what I had to deal with even before all of this happened. So, just like the takeaway is just that I know sometimes like going to the Super Bowl was out of reach for a lot of people. There was a couple at the bar who were Bengals fans, and 33 years ago, their first date was to the Bengals in the Super Bowl, and this was back when Super Bowl tickets were like something dollars. And 30 something years later, they're sitting at the bar talking to me, and they're going to the game again. And it's just like just the people that I met in the hotel. Like Peyton Manning was in our hotel, like kicking it with us, and it was just okay, you know, kind of cool things. So it's just like I'm happy to have that bucket list thing checked off, and trying to get through a lot of those things. You know, because you know we just never know what's going to happen, and you know, COVID, I feel like put a damper on a lot of different things. The whole mask thing about being indoors at the game, no.
Right, right.
And then LA lifted the mask mandate thing like the day after that. So it was just like people were just like whatever. So you know, just happy to say that, you know, I was at the Super Bowl, and you know, I got to meet 32 of the most amazing people, you know, in the world, and we all meshed and clicked, and I just, you know, want to keep in contact with them because we all have like different backgrounds and things like that, and everyone's dealing with something. I know Bengal Jim, for one, you know, it was a really emotional game for him, and I hated that he couldn't see that. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
just different things. When we got back to the hotel, you know, first thing I did was give him and his wife a hug because I know that meant so much to him to be there, and he was really emotional about it. So I just think that the friendships are going to be, you know, last as long as the memory, in my opinion. I know a lot of people probably are like fizzle off and we don't, you know, talk as much, but I feel like they're my family. I feel like you know, we were all come together for a reason. I think that God put all of us in the same, because we mesh. We have so much in common. We're just so, we laugh at the same thing. We have the same jokes. We look out for each other, you know, and that's just, you know, what it is. So, you know, Stephanie and
Mhm.
Liz, just everyone that I spent these 5 days with. I mean, I love them to death, and just hope going forward that the next fans of the year, that we, you know, interact with them as well. Somebody said that depending on the club, we might go to the draft. So
Wow.
our reign technically ends in April. So I guess it just depends on the club. So I mean, if the Bears don't do it, you know, that's fine too. But um I heard a little birdie from another team saying that they're probably gonna invite some fans to the draft. So we'll see what happens with that. But the new fans are chosen again in October, so it'd be pretty cool to see those guys too. But we had an amazing time.
That would be amazing. Well, thanks again for sharing, these experiences. And once again, where can everyone find you?
So you'll find me on Twitter at DES_TUH_NEE85. I'm on TikTok, your fave nurse 219, and Instagram at 5 feet 4 inches _219. I post a lot on my Instagram. I did like a whole montage thing. So follow me on Instagram. Twitter, I say stuff here and there. TikTok is more jokey stuff with the kids. But yeah, just reach out, talk about anything. Make sure you follow me because you did not follow me on Instagram.
I didn't. Yeah. And it's weird because I'm not usually on Instagram. So I'm going to have to do that now.
Yeah,
Yes.
you gotta at least follow me and just
Yes.
like lurk. I have like over
I'll
17
do that.
posts on Instagram, so you got a lot to look at and a lot to learn. But yeah, thank y'all so much. You know, thank you so much for having me back. And
Absolutely.
you know, whenever you want to talk football, that my husband, like I'm telling you, all day, all day, all day, all day, all day. Like you need to have this diehard
Let's do it.
football fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you. So
Yes.
um I'll send you his ad and stuff. And then if you have like, you know, different people to come on and talk football, definitely reach out to my husband. He is a plethora of knowledge with football. Big Tom Brady
Especially,
too.
especially when Tom Brady comes back.
Oh, okay. So do you think Gronk is gonna, you know, retire again, or do you think he's gonna, what do
I
you
think Gronk is waiting for Brady.
to come back?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I think it I think if Brady's done, Gronk is done.
Do you think Brady would sign a 1 day contract and retire as a Patriot?
I think Brady's going to play this year.
What? Why do you like? Please explain. Because
I,
a lot of people, even the Tampa Bay fan of the year, said the same thing. She said she doesn't think he's done.
well, part of it is, I can't even imagine, in just the rigors of playing. I did get a chance to talk to interview a Canadian Football League player. He actually played in the NFL with the Dolphins and everything, and in the Bears actually he played under Lovey. and you just talk about like the rigors of the season. And I just can't imagine like after a long season, you sit down with your family and just how much you're hurting and all that. But when he starts, I mean, I'm sure most of these players at a high level, they're addicted to kind of that experience. Because I did even interview another like long snapper, and he talked about you just can't in your everyday life you can't match that. Now, like you know it's not necessarily sports, but I mean, as a nurse, you've been in those kind of life or death moments, and I mean, when you're making a difference, right? And how important that is when you're making a difference, and I can't imagine some of these high level athletes, like even if I mean they're doing press things here and there, like even Peyton Manning, I'm sure that doesn't match that high level competition, that high where it matters, right? So I just think Tom, he's going to miss it, and he's going to one more year, his body's going to feel good, and here in March we're gonna be like, oh, he's back. So
I hope he comes back. The guy that won the Walter Payton Man of the Year from the Rams, I think he said that if they won, he was going to retire. And they said he was one of the oldest players in the NFL or
oh
something like
yeah,
that. Yeah. So I mean,
yep,
I don't know what all goes into, like, I know family is one thing and things like that, but Tom Brady has his hands in a lot of
that's true too. Yep.
things and stuff like that. So while I mean I would like to see him come back, I think that he that loss hurt him enough that I feel like if he wanted to prove a point, he would come back and win. But at the same time, I think that, like, people announcing it, and then his dad's like, well, he hasn't made a decision, and then the next day he comes out and makes the decision. I mean, I think that if he feels like he could come back, I think that he would. I just hope that he doesn't come back and then it's like bam, season ending, in week 2 or week 3 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
because when Gronk got hurt, he was out, and people were like, well, is he going to come back? How is he going to be when he comes back? And the whole Antonio Brown thing, and it's just like, it's kind of hard to say, but I mean, I feel like, and this is with any athlete, even with my son, if you feel
Right.
like you cannot contribute to your team enough to where you aren't beneficial or more of a hamper than a helper, then absolutely step away. But I personally don't think that Tom Brady, if he was to come back, that I think that he would give it his all, but I don't know if I see him doing that though.
That's that is true. I think you hit the nail on the head. One of the points though with Antonio Brown, I have to you'd think that how much of an emotional roller coaster that was. I mean, because he's such a talented player, and but he needed so much kind of I don't know, coddling, so to speak, or whatever, and that just had to take a ton emotionally out of Tom Brady. And so in my opinion, I just see him kind of sitting down and being like, I need that again. I don't want to go out like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether it's, win the Super Bowl again, or at least just continuing to compete without all of that drama. And maybe in San Francisco for 1 year.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I think that if he's gonna come back, I think it's gonna be, hey, I'm doing this because I want to do this. It wasn't any pressure, it wasn't any this and that. And even if he doesn't, come back, I think he's gonna go back, be heavily involved, whether that's commentating and different things like that, to whether he's always around the game. I mean, he might even buy in and become owner. Like, we just don't know these things. I don't see Tom 100% removing himself from the game to where he's not around and like focusing on just movies and production and clothing lines. I just personally don't see that.
Yep.
I'm happy that my husband's gonna have a time, have that moment to sit down and talk to him and Gronk and just kind of like pick their brains about it. I don't see Tom being a ass about answering the questions, because as a fan, I'm pretty sure my husband has a tattoo and things like that. I just think that Tom is going to see someone who's been following their career and someone who wants to, continue to support Tom in whatever endeavors and things like that. I think that's going to be an interesting conversation in April, because I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be, like, what's your, like, what are your plans? How can I continue to follow, someone that I follow all of these years when I was in high school? So hopefully he comes back. But again, I think Tom is probably going to say, listen, if I'm going to be injured week 2, or I can't, get out there and do everything, or you all are relying on the backup quarterback for like 6 of the 18 games, then no, absolutely not. And I think that he would do that and be like, and then help Tampa Bay. Like,
Right.
who can we put around the quarterback that's going to succeed me? Who is that even going to be? Who would be the quarterback?
Yeah. Well,
So
there's a lot. I mean, maybe even Aaron Rodgers. There's a lot of, speculation. And maybe I can, you know, help your husband uh, think of different questions that are almost like sneaky of like trying to find out, like, um, it not are you coming back, but like something sneaky that, but that's got, I mean, obviously you have the Super Bowl experience, but I can't imagine how excited he is, and you are for that too. So a lot of great stuff.
yeah, that's gonna be insane. We gotta link back up after we come back from Florida in April to see how that goes. That's gonna be pretty cool. But I don't see Tom stepping away from Tampa Bay. I think he's gonna have a very, very, very large part in the quarterback successor, and then also working and mentoring, especially if it's someone young. You know what I'm saying? Like, or like any young quarterback that hasn't been in the league long enough to know or understand a lot of things. I think Tom is going to be so instrumental behind the scenes. It's like we're going to see Tom playing through this guy.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like an amazing thing to see that growth and see like that mentorship. And I honestly think Tom's not bitter about losing. I think he wants to see Tampa Bay, win another Super Bowl without him. But I think he's going to be insanely instrumental in who that quarterback is. Insanely instrumental, insanely mentoring. It's going to be insane. So I'm happy that he thinks like that. And with Antonio Brown, I mean, the way he handled that when people asked about him was very classy. He didn't talk negatively about him. He just said we have to, give people the help that they need when they need it, and just left it at that. And I think that was really classy for him to do.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So we'll talk again in April. I'm thinking April.
Definitely. If not before, and maybe I can get your husband in a fantasy football league too.
Oh, listen, you
Let's
just
do
said the word fantasy football. So
Let's
yeah,
do it.
absolutely. I'll definitely get you his ad. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. So you
Yes.
can
I'm
see
gonna do
that.
that as soon as I'm done here.
But that's cool. Well, thanks so much for having me back on. And yeah, you'll be talking to us soon. And then we get back in April. We're gonna have all the pictures and all the stories and all of the news and all of the scoop. Call
Awesome.
it TMZ, I guess.
Thanks again, Dusty. One last go Bears or Dub Bears.
Yeah, Dub Bears, bear down. Oh yeah, you didn't see my tattoo. Dub Bears, bear down. Wait, I gotta get it in front. So yeah, there's my hold on, my Bears tattoo. It says, "I will love my Bears here. I will love my Bears there. I will
Oh,
love my Bears everywhere." So yeah, absolutely, go Bears, bear down. I'm happy about who we picked in this new leadership going forward. So this is going to be great. I cannot wait for this season. Cannot.
I agree. I agree. Thanks again, and definitely we'll connect again.
Oh yeah, no problem. Thank you so much. Talk to you
Yep. Bye.
soon.